today we're discussing a critical issue that affects every family, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board results. Now, the recent release of JAMB results has sparked concerns about the performance of candidates, with many wondering what's behind the poor performance. According to JAMB's statistical breakdown, only 0.63% of candidates scored 300 and above, while 17.11% scored between 200 and 249. A staggering 50.29% of candidates scored between 169 and 199, and 24.97% scored between 140 and 159. Now, these figures raise questions about the effectiveness of our education system and the preparedness of students for these critical exams. Many candidates have reported technical issues, challenging questions, and other problems during the exams. With 40,247 underage candidates participating in the UTME, only 1.16% scored 300 and above. What are the factors contributing to this poor performance? Is it the quality of education, inadequate preparedness, or something else entirely? Now, join in this phone-in segment as we explore the possible reasons behind the poor performance in JAMB results. Share your thoughts, ask questions, and let's discuss. Now, to make you understand, when we say it is a 75% scoring below 200, that means 75% scored below out of 400. That's over 1.4 million students out of the over 1.9 million students that sat for the exams in 2025. So we have at least 1.4 million scoring below 200. Now, in 2023 and 2024, that percentage was around 59 to 61%-ish. But this year, we're seeing a dip. Is the exams getting tougher? Are students less prepared in terms of their own personal preparation? Or is the system not giving them adequate preparation for the kind of exam CBT is or they're about to take? These are all the angles we'll be exploring. So yes, the questions and the numbers will be displayed on your screen. Do well to call us and let's hear your thoughts on our discussion this morning.
Absolutely. And you know, there was a question that after hearing that news yesterday we posed was there are lots of students that have no technological know-how, whereby they do not have any access to any computer or a laptop. And at the end of the day, it is now a computer-based test. So they would have to absolutely do the test on a computer. So at the end of the day, if a student has no technical know-how of how to navigate, then it would definitely be a difficult task for them to achieve. So we have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shatima. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Lilian. Good morning, Hauwa.
Good morning, Shatima.
I tell Lilian today I crowd you, Miss Abuja.
Thank you, Shatima.
So how work?
We thank God.
Honestly speaking, about this poor performance, you see, Lilian, the fact remains as it is. These children, they have become victims of circumstances. Why did I say so is, if you look at the syllabus that they are coaching them in the SS, it is syllabus that they will concentrate or write SSC with it. But this is JAMB. So the syllabus differs, the one from the SSC and the one from the JAMB. I think that also contributes. And if you look at it very well, the teachers that we have nowadays, honestly speaking, a majority of them, I'm sorry to say, apology to our teachers. We have little teachers. All the rest that we have, they are cheaters. They are not teachers. Or we see they don't have passion for the work. They just find themselves by mere accident. It's not their choice. That is why the commitment is very, very poor. The way and manner they will train the children is very, very low. They even themselves, they just doing the work just to survive, but they don't have passion. and after they look for a white-collar job, they didn't get it, then they will jump into the teaching. So that's one, also this one contributes. And lack of motivation at the part of the, at the part of the government. How can you hold a teacher salary for a month without giving him on a time? And also their promotion is lingering. That's also contributed. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. We have to declare a state of emergency on our education sector. We just have to be committed and make sure that we try as much as possible to give these children a very sound education. Because any society without education is a very dangerous society. All these bandits that you are seeing, if you are educated, if after you receive a sound education, you cannot engage yourself in that manner. So the thing that I want to say here is, government they should they have to wake up and be committed, and we parents too, we have to contribute so that to shape the future of our children. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Shatima. You absolutely touched on different aspects that might be the issue. And I would say that it is a multifaceted problem, whereby it could be from the educational system in itself, it could be from lack of preparedness from the students' end, it could be lack of support from the parents as well, and then it could be that maybe the examination is getting harder than it used to be. So it could be any of these factors that could, affect the woeful trajectory of these test results.
The way she says woeful, I feel for the students. All right, let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Tony Eze, calling from Benue State.
Good morning, Mr. Tony Eze. How is Benue this morning?
Benue is fine for now.
All right. Okay, go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, there is so many factors to it. And number one is this. Our children, they are no more putting much interest in education because some of them believe that they will make it. Remember, some of them that they are taking their WAEC, and we know how so many of them embark on cheating on WAEC, thinking that JAMB will be the same thing. But JAMB own is face your own and face my own. So number one is that the students, they are no more eager reading to defend themselves when it comes in terms of examination. They put more effort in Facebook, all these things of chatting and all these things, forgetting that on the time of exam you display what you learn. These are the major factors that is facing them. Two, JAMB also is not doing, like I refuse that my son is not going to take it because where the post him very far, and they say 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Oh. Now for us to transfer from Otukpo where I'm residing down to that place, it will take up to 1 hour, 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes on drive for you to reach there, and I don't have anybody there. So JAMB also, they are not doing well. The time they fix this thing will affect.
Hello? Yes, go ahead.
So the JAMB also, how they fix this thing was not convenient to some children. Okay. But in all children, some of them that are having WAEC exam in all subjects cannot defend the result that they are holding in their hand, and that's the simple truth. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony. That is the truth, and that is the plain truth. We all know even if we choose not to say it. The availability of miracle centers. We all know, even if we choose not to say, the fact that some students pay to pass these examinations. But there's something else that piqued my attention. The one time, the former Minister of Education then came out and wanting to extend the age for those that are going to enter university to 18 years. No doubt, we have students who are brilliant and can perform well in this examination at 16 and at 15. You find children passing JAMB, getting to university 15, 14. There's a certain level of maturity you need to get into the university. And that is the critical thinking JAMB sets you up for. Tony is talking about distance, talking about so many other things. You have to follow your child there. Yes, you will follow a 14-year-old to go and write JAMB. But you will know that an 18-year-old has developed a certain level of maturity to handle the critical thinking and speed that JAMB needs. The curriculum supports cram to pass. Not the curriculum, the way it's being taught in schools is cram to pass. But JAMB doesn't need cram to pass. JAMB needs critical thinking. Are we preparing our students for that? Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Do we still have the caller on the line?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Pastor Linus Lunakam, calling from Gombe State.
Good morning, Pastor Linus, all the way from Gombe. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Trust TV, may I use this medium to appreciate you so much. In fact, you are doing a great job in reviving this nation politically, educationally, and spiritually as well. We thank you so much. This is a big challenge that when we talk about education, we are talking about a fundamental foundation that will make everybody, discharge his duties correctly. But our teachers in our schools, they have corrupted themselves. The WAEC body have corrupted themselves. The NECO have corrupted themselves. And the JAMB itself that we are trusting to be a channel for us to send our children into universities is also corrupted. Please, I am begging, we need people who will give us guides so that our children will come out with good grades and they can be able to defend what they are holding. Some of them, the teachers cannot be able to teach the children, but when the exam is being given, you will see the teachers there giving the children the exam answers, which is very bad. We as spiritual leaders, we are against that. And we want all teachers to take their responsibility seriously so that they cannot be given and spoiling our children and leading them to bad direction. If they cannot be able to discharge their duties correctly, please, they should leave teaching line. And the Ministry of Education should seriously take a serious action on that. Please, I'll call on the Nigerian president, the able president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please to go and talk to the Minister of Education so that all these evil acts will stop. Thank you, and God bless Trust TV. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. That was a little touch of here and there. And to be honest, with what he spoke about, there is a possibility due to the prevalence of the lack of dedication of some teachers in, teaching the students what they need to know before they get to that point where they do write their examination. And then secondly, the prevalence of examination malpractice, which probably enables the students to be lax or relaxed when it comes to studying for their examinations, because they already know that even if they do or they do not, they already have aid when it comes to that, and they would definitely pass. So with that, moving on, as the probably WAEC examinations proceed, those things could be probably done, but then for the CBT examinations, I don't know if that could be done, but anything is possible in Nigeria. We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
We seem to have lost that caller. You know where Pastor Linus is coming from, in as much as it's deep and multifaceted, from the role of the society to the students to the education system. We forget the role of the system, the government in this. Where are teachers getting motivation from if they are not being paid properly?
Absolutely.
Where are teachers getting motivation from if the classrooms are not even comfortable or conducive enough for them to teach and for the students to learn? How would you put a CBT examinations for students when some of them in the rural areas, even some I have not seen a computer before, or know what it looks like?
Absolutely.
Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Trust TV.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Yobe State, Damaturu. My name is Ahmed.
Good morning, Ahmed. Go ahead with your thoughts.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello, you are talking of education. Education is the key to life, to everything. But once there's no security, there's no education. That's the biggest problem we're having here. We have millions of children because of security, no school, nothing is going on. Just last week, Boko Haram moved down there to Yobe State, enter a whole military barrack, bombard the place, remove all the military equipment, and go. No military man, no air force, nobody go after them. After the Borno bombing of military installation. So how can you get education without security? We are having problem in this country with this our rulers. So you have to tackle security first before anything in this world. Thank you very much, Rossi. May God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Amen. God bless Nigeria indeed. This is exactly what we said. It is a holistic approach. Now, he's coming from the aspect of security.
Absolutely.
Insecurity plays a role too.
Exactly.
Who would go to class if they are not safe or they're not comfortable to learn and teach?
Absolutely.
We have another caller. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, how are you?
I am fine, thank you.
I can hardly hear, but let me start. My name is Adi, I'm coming from England.
Good morning, Adi. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, go ahead.
I can say happy birthday to Lilian. I don't know when the birthday was, but I saw it online. So, I have a different view to this issue. People are blaming the teachers. Me, I don't blame the teachers. I blame the government, from the local government to state to federal. Because when a child is going for an exam, there is no light, no calculator, no computer, even to the extent, no phone. So that child cannot do anything, any research. Then, to camp it up, no good diet. So probably they eat once in a day or twice in a day. And so a child are left home like that to go for exam. How can you expect a good result? It's not possible. Because of the economy is biting hard
on the common people. So to perform will be difficult. It will affect them. That's number one. Number two, when you have your child in maybe secondary school, sometimes you have to pay for lesson. They go for lesson for extra so that they can, wherever they lack in the class, their lesson teacher can train them, then they will catch up. I remember many years ago when my children were in secondary school. I get it anywhere I know they need help. I'll get a private teacher. They come to my house and they will have 1 hour or 2 hours maximum because it's expensive per hour for the child with the child to train. And I gain it a lot. All of them are graduated, everybody working, but they benefited from that. So in Nigeria, they can get a lesson for their children. But they are not paid salary. The father has no job. The mother is earning little money, and they have 3 children, and 2 are in second. How do they cope? So economy is the factor, not the teachers. Teachers are well respected in UK here. I'm telling you. Even the parents, we fear teachers. Because when your children in the primary school get to school, the first question on Monday morning, the teacher will ask that, how was the weekend at home? How did they treat you? Did you eat fine? If you say, my parents were smacking me, the teacher will make an inquiry and contact the social security. You just then appear in your house that, why do you maltreat your children during the weekend? So we respect the teachers. So the same thing in Nigeria, teachers are okay. I'm not saying they are not bad one among them. Who employ them then if they are not qualified? Who employ them? So I blame the economy on this issue of these children because they need to be helped. So the local government can be organizing lessons for them free of charge and to train them more. Then they will make a good result. So it's not about teacher bad. No, I don't buy that at all. That's where I see it from. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria, Ade. Thank you so much for that contribution, which is the same thing we're just talking about now.
But then at a point, I would agree to disagree with what he said. I would agree to the fact that, yes, it is the government's responsibility to treat the teachers as they're meant to be treated, give them what they deserve. But then at the end of the day, there are other teachers that are not qualified to be able to teach those students and get them to where they need to get to. There is this disparity that we have in the educational system where due to the fact that the government is not paying the teachers as much as they're supposed to, or they don't have that much incentive to work as they're supposed to, most of them are moving to private schools, and that is bringing a gap in the educational system, in government schools, where there's supposed to be ample teachers that are qualified, that are supposed to teach the students, where the majority of those students that cannot, access private schools are. But then we have another caller. Let's hear their thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Hauwa.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, It's Abasekong calling from Gombe.
Good morning, Abasekong.
Sincerely speaking, your TV station, I don't know how to quantify or analyze it, has been a station in my heart and remains in my heart. So, going straight to the question, I remember when my daughter was right JAMB very many years ago. Just like Ade said, most of what is happening is that the government needs to do something. The Minister of Education needs to do something. The local government needs to make an input. We, the parents, also need to make an input. Why am I saying this? There are certain aspects that local government needs to put input in. What are the inputs they need to do? Like infrastructures in the school. Where I am now, in 9 hours, go to the school, my sister, no water for them to drink. The atmosphere is 0/100. No board. There's a school there. I pass there. Each time I pass there, I shake my head. You can't find such kind of school in Lagos or in Akwa Ibom where I come from. So the local government that is statutory responsibility to taking care needs to come in. What of the Senate? What are they doing with the money being given to them? That is where they need to inject. They need to come back to the root. To the root. And ensure that the grassroots is being taken care of. So I'm always, it is a shock and tragedy to see that things that needed to be done properly are not done. I'm not sincerely speaking, I'm not happy. But I want to really appreciate the tinubu government. He has really tried. Look at the price of foodstuff has reduced drastically. Unlike the former regime, Hauwa, a lot of things went wrong. I used to hear Nuruddin each time he talks on your television. He said EFCC went to sleep, DSS went to sleep, police went to sleep, army went to sleep, teachers went to sleep. The only people that did not go to sleep is Trust TV, because people are always doing their work and because it is a private sector. So, to this end, sincerely speaking, I sincerely appreciate Trust TV, where your voices, my voice matters in the scheme of things. We are not done yet, and you people too are not done yet, Trust TV, where millions of lives are being touched. People are touched globally. I really appreciate you. And I sincerely appreciate the board members and the family of Trust TV. I want you to continue in the in-depth and wider scope of coverage so that people will know that, yes, Trust TV is the CNN of Africa. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Abasi Kong there. Buttressing on what you said and what Ade said in terms of teachers. Now, let me pick it. My mom is a teacher.
Yes.
And she teaches in a public school. And in as much as we talk about payment and how the government is not paying them properly, I see the passion and the excitement in this woman when her children passes WAEC or NECO or they're in university. She comes home, oh, my children passed exam. Like, am I adopted? I mean, I'm your child too, but she's so excited that they passed WAEC. She's teaching SS1 to SS3, and she insists on taking SS1 to SS3 because she wants to follow them, build the foundation, equip them to pass WAEC, and equip them to pass JAMB. She does extra lessons on Saturday.
Sort of accomplishment.
So that passion is there for her to do it.
Do you think that the passion is dwindling?
That is the problem. When you're complaining about the quality of teachers in public schools, even if those same teachers are moved to private schools, the attitude to the job is still the same. Because I have seen teachers in private schools with that same attitude, nonchalancy towards the students. Some of them don't even really understand what it is they are doing. Some of them don't care. They're just there for the money. But the passion to actually make sure that you're putting knowledge in this person and setting this person up for the future.
Setting up
some of them do not have it, which is very important. So why go into teaching if you don't have the passion for the job?
Absolutely.
That's a lot of questions. We have a couple of WhatsApp messages, I believe. We'll take them shortly. As they are being displayed on the screen, we're going to take them. Now, something else I didn't finish was the cram. Okay, there's also the role of social media.
Yes.
In this new time. Children
there
are exposed.
More distractions.
Exactly. All right, let's take a couple of WhatsApp messages we have. We have the first message from Nandi Bete from Mogoja. He says, many factors are responsible for this poor performance in the JAMB examination. One of them is the poor funding of education. JAMB now conducts computer-based tests. A good percentage of our schools, especially those in rural areas, don't have facilities. So many of those candidates may not even have basic knowledge of the use of a computer. Something has to be done urgently to salvage and reposition our education sector. No nation rises above the level of the education offered to its citizens. Thank you very much. We spoke about, the CBT and the fact that some students do not have access to it.
Absolutely. And as he said, there are some places where there aren't proper infrastructure. You would go to some nooks and crannies in this country where there isn't even a proper classroom for those students to sit and learn. Talk less of getting a teacher to get to that particular place, because there has to be incentive, there have to be proper facilities for them to be able to deliver what they need to deliver. So all of that is encompassed in, the issues that we have.
All right. We'll take the message from B.S. Ibrahim from Mina.
All right. He said, in my view, JAMB is the only body responsible for admission into university. I look at this as too rigid and monopoly. More entry exam bodies should be created to give room for healthy competitiveness from the bodies. But I don't believe that
we need more than one.
Exactly, we need more than
I don't agree with Ibrahim on this. But let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning, Amina. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thanks for your work well done.
Thank you.
The issue of education in Nigeria, I think it has to do with everyone. Apart from the government, you have to talk of the parents and then the teachers. It's not just a one-way issue. And the truth is that it also has to do with the economy. The economy is so bad that it affects everything. It's only when the home is happy, is comfortable, that you see parents have time for other things. I remember when my children were small, when I come back from work, we finish all what we need to do. I bring them the homework, everything. I sit and do with them. But unfortunately, I have some children under me presently that I can't do that for now. The only thing I do is that, okay, I gave them a lesson teacher. But how many people can afford that? How many people can afford? Even the school fee, you can't afford it. Not to talk of having a lesson teacher. Then another major thing is that we have to be frank. Majority of our teachers are not qualified, especially at the local government level. You have teachers that are just there because their husbands are working in the local government. They just push them there just to while away time. I had an encounter with a child I found on the road one time. I think around 11 I was going out and I saw the child. What was happening? He was crying. He said they sent him out of the school because of school fee. And how much is the fee? Very funny. It was 450 naira. So I followed the child to the school and just to plead with the teacher and I asked, what can we do? The teacher was telling me so many things. But you know, before she spoke to me, she asked, don't I kill a Hausa? And I looked at her, I said, is there anything wrong? Into the house, I said, we need a house. That is to tell you that she cannot speak to me in English. She can't speak English. So please, how do you expect such a teacher to impact anything on a child? You see, so in fact, a majority of these teachers, especially at the local government level, I'm telling you this, you have majority of them that are there just because their husbands or uncles or aunties are having part of the local government secretariat. They are just pushed there to while away. I see that as whiling away time. Then when you talk of the state and the local and the federal, there's no incentive for these teachers. So when they come to school, sometimes they just come, write something on the board and they go out of the class. No explanation for these children. Nothing. The children do not understand. Whatever you understand, write and go. And they go out to do their businesses. This is what is happening in most of the schools. So how do you impact on children and expect them to do well in school? And I'm telling you, presently there are majority of our secondary schools now that are just the teachers there are corpers. They are corpers. Majority of these corpers are zero. They can't do anything. I don't know how they manage to pass up to do their NYC. So if somebody that has, you don't give us something that you don't have. Somebody that have nothing cannot give you anything. So these are the things, these are the problems we are having. Majority of the federal government secondary schools and state schools, it's just corpers. The few other teachers that you have there are old teachers that are just like waiting for retirement. We have problem in Nigeria. In education, in the educational sector, it has to do with it needs a holistic approach from the parent to the society to the teachers to the government, and the government needs to come out and do something. They will need a very conducive atmosphere for these children to be able to make it. Private schools that are making it, when you go, you see the kind of teachers they have, the kind of the administration, they find that it's quite different. You have also private schools that are just there, come and patch and go. That's what we call some of these schools. It's unfortunate. The result, this recent result, it's so disgusting. And in fact, when I saw it, I read, I think 2 days ago when I went through and I read, I felt so bad. Because we have children that we felt they are out of secondary school, they are going to university. Now they have to go and write again. I just hope the government will do something, and I hope parents will wake up. Let's not just leave things to, especially in terms of the education, let's not just leave it to the government and the teachers alone. We should augment their efforts too. May God see us through. May God help Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amina. God help Nigeria indeed. Thank you for calling in. There is a message from Baba Jalingo that is there. We're going to take it when it comes up on the screen. But before we do, you know, from what Amina is saying, it's a holistic approach across, you know, everybody from the parent to the teachers to, you know, even the students. Now,
absolutely.
I have seen students whom will tell you, oh, they went to school, but they can't communicate. I have seen students who tell you, oh, they went to school and they can't do simple math sums. Absolutely. Now, for those, I do not blame them. I blame the system for not providing a proper school for them and a proper system. Throwback to when Rocha Sokorocha was the governor of Imo State, the wonders he did in the public schools in that state. You would think they are private schools. He rejigged them, he built them, he created so many things that would make that school, the school look, I was like, is that, they say, oh, that's the public, that's federal government schools. Like, what? Is that a public school? Parents were wanting to put their children in there. And that is what we're lacking. Well, let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lena. It's Shetima Kudima from Maiduguri back again.
Thank you so much for coming back again. Go ahead with your thoughts, Shetima.
I really appreciate my sister Amina. You see, honestly speaking, I was opportune to be an employment officer of the Borno State Civil Service Commission when I was in the state services. Recruitment, all where the problem lies is based on the recruitment of these teachers. Lilian, you can agree with me. I am telling you this out of experience. There is teachers that we employ during Ali Modu Sharif regime here in Maiduguri. We recruit them under TSD. To your surprise, a graduate, a holder of BH education, BH, he cannot write an application for employment. And such a teacher, how do you think? What will he have anything to offer for the children? Let's say the truth. We have problem of teachers. And the recruitment, the modus operandi of the way they come, they find themselves into the system. That is what we are asking for. We have to make a sanitation. If employment is done, we have to close our eyes. We do it based on merit. Who deserves it? Let him take the offer. But because you have existing relationship with somebody at the top, they will compel the employment team to give him an employment. That is why we are having problems. These teachers that we are having, as I told you earlier, we have nowadays we have two categories of teachers. We have teachers and we have teachers. Them themselves, they know they don't have anything to offer. But because of the money, they want to find themselves in teaching line. Because there is no work for them. They just have to squeeze themselves and taking the teaching career. And the teaching career is beyond their power. They cannot cope. They don't have anything to offer. So we have to make a sanitation in that recruitment aspect. If at all we want to see a good result. You see, that's the fundamental problem that we're having. But may Allah help us and see us through. May Allah rescue this country. That's the only prayer that we can render. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He really hammered on one thing that needs to be highlighted. A teacher is an absolute foundation of a child or a student, which sets that child for, to prosper and achieve in life. If a teacher has a standard level, a graduate of any institution that can be employed has a standard level of education of, for example, JSS 1 or JSS 2, where at a point they cannot even write their name or write an application letter properly, then what can they transfer to that student? Exactly. Right. So that is the comparison that you have to do. Then that means that is where the level that that child can get to. They cannot get above that level.
All right.
Or be below that.
We had the WhatsApp from Bajalingo. I would really love us to comment on that now.
Okay.
He said, I want to slightly differ with other commentators on the strength of the 2025 JAMB results, because on a normal distribution curve, if you look at the results critically, a reasonable number of candidates are around the center of a normal curve, scoring between 190, 220, 230, or even 240, which are scores a little below around 50%, which is around the mid score of normal. We need an expert analysis of 2025 JAMB results. Indeed, between 190, 230, 220, 230, 240, mid. Are we vying for mid for our educational sector? But shouldn't we be aiming for higher? We've had JAMB results, people are scoring 300, 400. The world is moving.
The dip has been so low that it's 75% of the entire students that took that examination. Okay, what would happen next year then, or the year before that?
And the fact that we're trying to justify that mid, saying, oh, it's an average.
And accept it.
The last time I saw a JAMB result at 250, that was in my time.
Yes.
Since then, I have seen students do better.
If you have it's expected 210, like a top like 210, 20, it's seen as you didn't do well in your JAMB examination.
Yes, and it's expected that over the years, the education sector is meant to get better.
Exactly.
People are meant to score better. We shouldn't still rely on that, 190 to 240 is an okay score. This system is changing.
It is not
the world is changing. We can't allow that leave us behind. The essence of JAMB is to boost critical thinking, speed in answering questions. Absolutely. It's more of speed and critical thinking. Your ability to read an English comprehension and answer the questions immediately. Those are necessary survival skills, not just within Nigeria, but to thrive outside Nigeria.
So does that mean that the students are slower in thinking?
The cram to pass mentality. I remember back then in the university, you would answer a question and the teacher would tell you, no, it's not as if this your answer is wrong, but it is not what is in my head. How am I supposed to know what is in your head? Or you will see a question, define this.
Yes.
And you would define it, but you wouldn't get it correctly because you define it in your own understanding and your own words. You would have maybe a half mark. But the person who defined it exactly the way it is in the notebook would pass.
Of a garbage in, garbage out type of situation.
That is it. So how do you expect such students who are being taught in that way across? This time there's no even point to blame private school or public school. Sometimes it cuts across.
That is the standard that's been put in place.
So how would you expect that person to apply that knowledge when it comes to writing JAMB, and something that requires you to sit down and now think when there's no room for you to cram and write?
Absolutely.
So these are all options that needs, even as parents, you have that role to play as well. Sit down with your children and study. Put them.
As Ms. Amina said earlier, the parents do not have time anymore to dedicate that to the children in order to put them through, because honestly I can remember vividly when I was growing up, at least there would be a time where they would go through your homework, they'll go through your assignment, they would ask you what you've done in school, they would identify if you have lapses or not. Granted that, as she said as well, not everyone can be able to afford to have those extracurricular classes for their children, but then at the end of the day, even that little attention helps to boost the morale of that child and make them perform properly.
We have another caller on the line. Good morning. Good morning. Do we still have the caller on the line?
Yes, this Amina back again.
All right, thank you, Amina. Go ahead.
Yeah. In fact, there's something I left out. There's one of the callers that was saying food.
Hunger.
The cost of food has come down drastically and is raising the government. I wanted to know in which state or in which country. Is it Nigeria? Because I don't know where he got that from. Maybe he's speaking from another country, but if it's Nigeria or where we belong, I don't think. Because what we have now is still far above what we had during Buhari's time. So I don't know why he's comparing that with Buhari's, this government with Buhari's government in terms of cost of living. Thank you.
All right, Amina, thank you very much. That was a deviation from what we're talking about. But I think he made that statement in regards to what Ade said, which also makes sense. A hungry man is an angry man. A hungry man's brain is closed and there's no room for learning. It can't function, it can't understand. So economic factors are coming into play in terms of all of this, you know. How are families feeding?
Absolutely.
The kids that are going to school to learn, have they even eaten something to be able to focus and
be
learn?
able to function, yes.
Would they be able to function? Do they have a stable home to function? Exactly. What is the relationship with the parents? Like you said, are they paying attention to their books? I would beat my chest and say I had so many friends back then in school that from the year 1 to the last year of school, their parents had no idea. Did not ask them what their result was. I mean, explain that. Let's take the next call. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Can you turn down the volume of your TV set and tell us your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, I'm calling from Adamu, local government.
Thank you. Go ahead with your thoughts.
My name is Polycarp. Morning.
Good morning, Polycarp. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Okay. Okay. Is it okay?
Go ahead, Polycarp.
Is it okay? Okay, thank you. We are discussing about the low performance of students during JAMB and any other examinations. I would like to tell you that the basic problem with our education today is it started right from the time they introduced what is called right from the time they introduced
Polycarp, the TV of the volume of your TV is still high. We'd have to let you go because it looks like you're trying to listen to yourself. So we could give room for other callers. So when you turn on the volume of your TV set, do well to call us back. Now we have one very interesting message here from a Jambite on our WhatsApp. He says, Good morning, Trust TV. I'm Tajuddin Masood Mohammed from Bauchi State. I'm a 2025 JAMB candidate. Please help us and extend my message to them. They should release the results instead of releasing the statistical analysis because we are worried as the candidates and our parents. We're always scared of the results. The best thing to cool us down is releasing. I understand your pain, my dear. You know, imagine you wrote JAMB and then I tell you that
75% of students have, you know,
your parents will be eating you in the house and be like, you sure you're not among that number?
Yeah, exactly.
So please do well to release the result to them, and we wish you all the best, Tajuddin. We hope that you are not among the 75%. And please, I'm not sure if I were your parent, I'm not sure I would want to have you using WhatsApp this morning when they've said that 75% are having issues with their results. I'd rather you start reading to augment the result or find something around it to convince me that you performed better than the 75% that are below 200. But we wish you all the best on your, JAMB, and we hope that when the results are released, message us and let us know message us and tell us what you scored. We want to hear it. No, but still on the conversation, okay, let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Julius Adamu, and I'm calling from Ajakuta, local government, Kogi State.
Good morning, Julius, all the way from Ajakuta. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I want to participate in these topical issues of the persons that are responsible for the poor performance of JAMB results. Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
I think from my experience as a media man, one-time lecturer at the universities, and my late father was a teacher. The factors responsible for this failure are multidimensional, and it's all hangs on what we can call foundation. When the foundation is decaying, what can the righteous do? Number one, the foundations, the parental foundation, teachers foundation. We cannot just overflow government. The government has its own part to play. Most parents send their children, their wards to private school, where these private schools are like miracle centers. They believe they will get the WAEC results on platinum of gold. So I remember when I was trying to change my daughter from command because of performances to private school, I have to go up to 3 or 4 private schools, and I was asking them, I hope this place is not miracle center. The majority of them convinced to me that unless people will lie to me that majority of the private secondary schools are miracle center. So if a child knows that I will pass my WAEC, it will not hide his seriousness. As regards, if most of these results that come from the WAEC result in private school, you will see A is line up. And when I was lecturing in Nigerian Army University, I want to tell you that I lecture communication in English. I have to tell some of the students to go and buy this Queen Premier, 2-letter words. So on the part of the parents, they are not helping these children. They don't teach. We parents, we don't teach them industry, hard working, that there is no short course to hard working. You study hard. That is one on the part of the parents. Then the teachers. When my father was a teacher, my late father, I saw the pattern in him that he really wants to impact on the children that are in his school. From there, he moved to secondary school. I saw the pattern. Up to today, there are no passions. Majority of the teaching industry has become a dumping ground for those who could not get a better jobs in oil companies and all these. So let me pick up the teaching. And when you go to private secondary school, how much are they paying their teacher? 30,000, 25,000 naira. So they can't be serious. They cannot be serious. And I'm watching on the screen, 320 and above. That's me. Most of those students that come to 320 and above, they still got these JAMB results from Miracle Center. So when they get to the university, they perform globally. This 320 and above should not convince them. I think the better result that I'm watching is 209 to 249. Those are the better results I can tell you. Even this 320 and above, 300 and above, though we have some distinguished students. I can't rule that out. Some students are distinguished. But majority, I can tell you 320 and above as I'm watching. Thank you for zooming the result. 320 and above, 300 and 319. Majority of them, many private schools, they organize miracle center even for the JAMB results. So we shouldn't be deceived with this thing that we are saying. The best results will lie between 250 and 200 results. So on the part of the government, they should make the remuneration of teachers to be attractive. Maybe that we encourage them to be passionate. That we encourage them to be passionate. Especially teachers in public school. If they know that they have something they can go home with, I think it will heighten their passion. The doctors are multidimensional. Our parents are not trying. They just want to get put in repeated classes. Hardly you can see people in repeated classes based on non-performance. So thank you very much. I really appreciate Trust TV. I have one of my colleagues working in studio. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. The other aspect of people repeating classes is true.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a message to comment on this. We have a message from Mbatin Ak Makbelo to come up on the screen from Port Harcourt. We'll take that message. Yes, it's right here. It says, let us just face the truth. It is very difficult to cheat now that the system has been computerized.
Absolutely.
There are faults from other angles, but more faults from the preparation of the students. In fact, 90% from the students' preparation. No more expo.
No more expo.
It's computerized. When he says Miracle Center, I'm trying to, this is CB. Yeah, Nigerians might have a way, but I guarantee you that it's less.
But then I would like to hammer on what he said. There is no shortcut to success. So you have to be amply prepared for you to be able to take these kind of tests and for you to pass these kind of tests. And then, as you said, there's no more expo.
There's no more expo.
Not as it used to be when it was, you know, paper-based. You would answer your questions on the paper and any sort of thing could happen whenever and however it could be done.
All right, let's take the next call we have. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay. I'm Mr. Money from home. Please, I'm back again.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, I want to tell you that actually the beginning of the drop down of education was right from the time the UPE was introduced. Long before, you know, teachers were selected based on the best performance of the students from WAEC or NEFO. So, but this time, but from the time the UBE came in, we only select those people that dropped out from secondary schools. So if they were secondary school dropped out, they were not really brilliant people. So from there, the standard of education becomes very poor.
All right.
So coupled with the fact that teachers are being looked down upon because their pay is nothing to write from above. And that apart, the parents do not even regard teachers as anything anymore because they feel that they are the poorest paid civil servant, the least paid civil servant. So, in fact, what the government should do is to start the former teachers' college, whereby a child will be trained right from 1 to maybe from 5 as before. But as it is as at now, the teachers are even feeling mediated. The teachers are even feeling that they are second-class civil servants. They do not have confidence and they do not have the knowledge. So they cannot deliver anything to the students which can take them to the level they are expected to be.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Polycarp, there for your thoughts. Now, he's speaking about investment in the teachers.
Yes.
But I'd love to buttress on what our caller from Ajokuta said regarding the role of parents. And I made mention my mom was a teacher. In Cross River State, they have mock examinations. You write it before WAEC. So my mom was among those teachers who were meant to set the biology exams for the state mock examination. She did, and I was writing. My sister and my cousin were all writing at that point in time. My sister was writing just to try out, and I was writing as a proper examination. And my mom kept on announcing, you people should read, study your biology. She did not give area of constitution. She wasn't even sure. But do you know this woman, when it was actually her questions that were being picked for the examination,
she would not let you
She did not tell
Absolutely.
us. She said nothing to us.
Absolutely.
And when we wrote, we came back, that invigilator, it's not be well with the person that sets the exams. She was like, is it me? And she brought out the manuscript and shows that it was actually hers.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you, we are your children, why didn't you just give a hint?
No.
An area of concentration or something?
No.
So that programmed my mindset differently.
To be prepared.
To understand that first you have to prepare for exam, and as a parent, you have to prepare your kids and don't give them a soft. They're going out into the world. We I would have loved us to take this message from Dr. Wendy Chukwemeka, but
yes,
we'll just take it quickly before we go on break. He says the recent JAMB is a reflection of the systemic failure in governance. He gave a round overview.
Okay.
Public school failure, erosion of national values, quality of parenting education. The country has become so transactional that money defines everything.
Absolutely.
From passing WAEC, getting through university. Most of our university graduates are unemployable because they sought their way through university and involved in cultism.
Absolutely.
He said a lot. He went as far as talking about how all public and private schools should have standard exam halls with camera. JAMB has a strict, exam check, hence they filter junks among students. So what he said basically was that all exams should tilt towards critical thinking for children, aside the role of every other person that comes to play in building the kind of students we want. Education is very important.
Very, very. It is very, very important. So with it being very important and being the foundation of everything, there are strict measures that need to be taken. There are factors that need to be looked at in order for it to be something that is a success.
I wish we could continue the conversation, but we've come to the end of this segment. As we're going on this quick break, we'll leave you to reflect, on your choices as a parent, as a teacher, and, as a nation at large. What do we actually want from the next generation? Especially with this result that has been released, it's a time to reflect in general. Look back at your children and what you're doing positively in their lives, in terms of education, in terms of life skills, critical thinking, everything in general.
Absolutely.
Find a way to keep them and build them.
And we have to remember that we have to put in that work as well in order for the whole system to work. We cannot just be calling on this and that, and we're not putting our own culture into making sure that everything goes as it's supposed to go.